Salam Sejahtera Doctor, my name is Khoh as a group leader from Group 4, and our topic is Bioprosthetic valve. Then this is my group members, and let's start our group presentation with my group member.
Bioprosthetic valve is an artificial heart valve that is used to replace dysfunctional native valves. Porcine valves and bovine pericardial valves from the animal tissues are the commonly used in the type of prosthesis heart valve. However, there are few reasons to promote calcification of the valve and blockage of blood vessels that may lead to stroke or even death. Calcification is one of the most major uncommon issues in the bioprosthesis valves. It can lead to deterioration and failure of these devices over time. Luckily, several biomaterial approaches have been explored to prevent or reduce calcification in bioprosthesis valves. In the next slide, I'll be talking about the factors of calcification development. There are three major factors that contribute to calcification. First of all, tissue origin. It is crafted from porcine or bovine tissues, which originally contains calcium. The calcium ions gradually accumulate within the valve's tissue structure that leads to the formation of calcified nodules, impairing the flexibility and proper functioning of the valve's leaflets. Then, lastly, it leads to heart valve failure. Secondly, immunological response. Immune system recognizes implanted heart valves as foreign and activates an immune response. Inflammation and immune cell infiltration release substances like cytokines and growth factors that contribute to tissue remodeling and calcification. And lastly, mechanical stress, meaning that stress from blood flow and the opening and closing of the valve leaflets causes micro damage and tissue disruption, triggering the calcification process.
Let me continue this presentation with biomaterial approach to prevent calcification in the heart valve. The first method is surface modification by using anti-calcification biomaterial, which is phosphorochlorine that can prevent calcification by lowering calcium ion adherence to the surface of the valve, and it can make the surface less prone to calcification. Besides that, in preclinical and clinical investigations, PC coating bioprosthetics valve have reduced calcification and enhanced long-term durability. The other approach is tissue engineering and ion-loaded scaffolds. Firstly, scaffolds loaded with ion to deliver drug or seeded with autologous cells to encourage new growth of ions. Metals like iron, aluminum, and magnesium attach to the hydroxyapatite crystals that are developing in the serum and prevent further deposition. So it can avoid calcium deposition, which can cause calcification with the magnesium ion by with the calcium ion. Furthermore, nanocomposites are also a type of biomaterial approach that can prevent calcification in the heart valve by react post-nanoparticle with PCU. The reaction will enhance mechanical strength of biomaterials, and it can use as a calcification-resistant material. As a result, the treated tissue exhibit reduced pellet adherence to its surface, which is considered to be a mechanism linked to calcification resistance. Biomimetic design also can reduce calcification by mimicking the microstructure and biomechanical characteristic of healthy valve, and it can mirror the natural structure and characteristic of native heart valve. Besides that, addressing the free aldehyde found in prosthetic tissue also can prevent calcification in the heart valve by treating bovine pericardium with alternative method to create free aldehyde result in reduced calcium content and mineralization of the tissue. The last biomaterial approach to prevent calcification is cross-linking chemistry by using bovine pericardial tissue shot in a neomycin trisulfate and a buffer, and then incubate it in a cross-linking carbondiamide solution containing pentagallite glucose.
The medical device categorization for artificial heart valve. Medical device categorization, nature of body contact is implant medical device, contact through blood. Contact duration is type C, which is long term, more than 30 days. The biological test required for bioprosthetic heart valve is, the first one is sensitization. Sensitization is a response by the immune system to chemicals, and it's used to predict the potential of contact sensitization to biomaterial or medical devices. Second one is irritation involving intracutaneous reactivity. It is for investigate the irritating effect of potential leachable in extract of biomaterials and medical device. Number 3 is material-mediated pyrogenicity. It's for identify the pyrogenic response by extract of biomaterial or medical device. Number 4 is acute systemic toxicity. It is to determine the potential harmful effect of either single dose or multiple doses of a test sample or medical device within 24 hours. Number 5 is subacute toxicity. It's to determine the adverse effect of either single dose or multiple doses of a test sample or medical device during a period of 14 to 28 days. Number 6 is subchronic toxicity. It's to evaluate the negative effect of either a single dosage or several doses of a test sample or medical devices, often 90 days but not more than 10% of the animal's lifespan. Number 7 is chronic toxicity. It's to examine the long-term safety and potential side effect of medical equipment. Number 8, implantation effect. In order to assess the local pathological effect of biomaterials on the structure and functionality of living tissue where they are surgically implanted. Number 9 is hemocompatibility. It's to evaluate the effect of the blood-contacting medical devices or materials on blood component. This involves thrombosis, coagulation, platelets, hematology, and immunology. Number 10 is genotoxicity. It's to test the DNA destruction, gene mutation, and chromosomal abnormality that is caused by medical devices or biomaterial. Carcinogenicity. It's to determine whether a material has the potential to cause cancer or not. The last one is cytotoxicity. It's to figure out whether the materials emit any chemicals that can damage or kill cells, possibly causing inflammation or other unfavorable effect.
presenter. My name is Atiqah, one of these group members. An animal tissue valve is a special replacement valve made from the heart of animal like pigs or cow. It is used when a person on heart valve is not working well. The animal tissue is treated and processed to remove cells and antigen while preserving the extracellular matrix, which provides the structural integrity. As junior biomedical engineer, the main component and material used for developing new bioprosthetic valve are: for valve leaflet, we use porcine pericardial tissue; for stem, we use cobalt chromium alloy; for suturing, we use silicone fiber band.
The chemical properties for valve leaflets is it should resistant to degradation and have good mechanical strength as to withstand the cyclic stress of cardiac cycle over a period of time. And the material must able minimize or resist calcification to maintain long-term valve functionality. While for stent, it must be compatible with drug which able to allow for effective drug delivery without compromising the stent physical properties, and the material is highly corrosion resistant. While for structuring, the silicone rubber can withstand a wide range of temperatures from extreme heat to extreme cold without losing its physical properties, and it has good resistance to various chemicals, including solvents, acids, and bases. The morphological properties for valve leaflets is the material should be in appropriate size to ensure proper sealing and blood flow regulate ions. While for stent, it must be in low surface tension which reduces blood cell adhesion. While for structural rings, it must be more flexible and softer compared to other rubber materials. The mechanical properties for valve leaflets is it have high tear resistance, resist perforation or tissue damage during opening and closing of the heart valve, and the elasticity of materials helps the tissue maintain proper sealing and ensure efficient valve function. While for stent, the hardness of cobalt chromium alloy ranges is between 500 to 800 megapascal, and the tensile strength ranges is between 145 to 270 megapascal, and it is highly durable and rigid. While for structural ring, it is low modulus of elasticity and capable to sustain deformation as much as 1000%, and is good resilient, means that it is able to return to its original shape and size.
Here is simplified explanation of the advantage and disadvantages of HAR, bioprosthetic valve. Advantages: no need for lethal anticoagulant, low risk for bleeding, availability, and expensive and mass produced. For disadvantages: limited durability, falsification, tissue deterioration, and undesirable respiration. In conclusion, bioprosthetic heart valve are less durable compared to mechanical heart valve, but is safe to make implantation. The standard recommendation for valve replacement favor a bioprosthetic valve for patients aged 60 to 65 and older. Those who are struggling with conditions that significantly lower life expectancy and potentially increase the risk for bleeding, such as kidney disease which need dialysis treatment, may be better off with a bioprosthetic valve. Here is our reference. Thank you.